So yes, hello and welcome to our first ever members video here on the Rangers Rabble. Again, just thank you so much to everybody who has joined as a member. And I don't have to do all the advertising rubbish because everybody's already here. Alan and Kerr are going to join me for this one. Kerr, how are you?
I'm fine, Martin. How yourself?
Well, I'm all right, I suppose. I got a dead relaxed feel to this.
You're not live.
No, it's not live, and it's just for the members. Alan, how are you?
I'm good, Martin, thank you.
Good. Right, so I thought, right, this was all Alan's idea, so I can't take the credit for it, right? I'm not that kind of person, you know what I mean? I thought for the first video, or Alan thought for the first video, we would do a wee kind of predictions thing, just to see how terribly wrong that we would get it. So Alan, seeing as it was your idea, we'll go through a few different scenarios, a few different predictions. But why don't you kick us off with the first one? Go for it. Any prediction you want, just make one up.
Any prediction? I thought Rangers to win the league.
Oh, do you know what? Actually, see before we come on to that, let's have a serious chat about because on that point, let's have a serious chat about our neighbours and how they've looked in pre-season. And Kerr, I don't know how many times it has to be said, pre-season is pre-season. You never read too much into it. But there's the fact that they've been really shocking, really poor, took ages to get a manager in. They've got no defenders apart from one boy that they've signed who's got to isolate. I mean, does that just give us more confidence, I suppose, going into the season? That, you know what, if we don't win it this year, something's wrong?
It might to the fans, but I think the team and the manager it will, because, as you said, the manager's not winning for long over there. The squad of players isn't great at the moment, but he's still got a few weeks to bring players in, which I think he will. And I probably think he'll bring in a keeper because the keeper they've got at the moment is useless. So I think I'll wait till the end of August. I still think we're clear favourites to win it. I think we're in a position where we're that confident. Even I know yesterday you said pre-season friendlies, but you can see how well we're playing, how confident the players are together. Just the morale's there and just...
I'm so glad this is a members video because they get to see all the rubbish that goes on behind the scenes. So you were saying, Kerr, that the morale's
up there with Scott Starr.
It's hard to pick up after your phone just strapped in the flare. Nearly in your laundry bag, just whatever. No, I think my judgment on that will come at the end of August once the window shut. But I think we're clear favourites. I'm confident we can win the league. I think after last season we were in a strong position to win it. I think Celtic are chasing us now, but sometimes it's better chasing at times because there's not so much expectation on you. But I think Celtic might be in a position where we were when we brought in Pedro, which hopefully they will be. So I'll go with Alan. I think we'll win the league. But as for Celtic, I'll look at them at the end of August and see where they are.
I don't know, but Alan, I'll take the exact same point to you before we come on to the predictions. I mean, should we be taking extra confidence for how poor Celtic look, or should we? And listen, I know Gerrard and the players won't, right? They'll just be fully focused on what they need to do. But us as fans, it's completely different. Can we just take so much confidence for the fact that they look so disjointed and so poor?
We've got to look at that, and we know that they're not a team that's clicking at the minute. I don't know, that might change. It might happen in the next couple of weeks for them. But I think part of the problem is whether or not the managers pick these players that they've signed is debatable. They've spent a wee bit of money on them, so they've obviously got something about them. You don't know what they're going to be like. We don't know what this Israeli mid-winger is going to be like, or the Japanese centre forward. But the way they've played, the results they've got, the goalkeeping errors. Right now, I don't fear playing them. And when is it we play them? A month into the season or something. We play them at Ibrox. Bring them on. I think it'll be the easiest 3 points in the opening few games.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what then, right? Here's a first prediction question I'm going to ask, right? And I'll take this to you, Kerr. And this is one of these completely insane ones that you can only get away with when you've got members, because if thousands and thousands of people heard this question, I'd be getting called a donkey and all sorts, right? If we beat Celtic in the first game, the first Old Firm game of the season, is that the league over?
My usual answer would be no, but I think if we beat them quite convincingly in the first game of the season, I think it'll go a long way to say it will be, because I think they could be in a mess and the manager could be under serious pressure. And because he's a new guy for Japanese football, he's going to be under more pressure than somebody if they brought into the UK or whatever. So you make a good point, but I'm never that confident, Martin. I think it's just because the last 10 years I've been that confident with the way Rangers have. So I would say no myself, but I think it would put us in a very good position.
I don't know, Alan. And listen, maybe I'm just being completely overconfident because I haven't been confident since 2012. But it just feels to me like they're in such disarray that if we make a good solid start to the season and beat them, I just don't see any way back from them.
A season doesn't finish in August, does it? I'll be honest, I hate making the kind of predictions because
that's why we're here, to make silly predictions.
I know, but see when they come back to bite in the arse, I don't mind making predictions about any team, but see when you start predicting about that mob and it comes back to bite in the arse, there's no living it down. I think we're going to have to enjoy it for what it is at the minute. I don't see them getting any further in the European Cup. Let's enjoy that for what it is, because we know what it felt like to be there, and the fact that they're going through that instead of us, I'm just going to enjoy it. And listen, I'll make a prediction right now. I think Hearts will beat them at the weekend.
Do you know, I was talking to a guy in my work today who's a fan of them, and he was saying that he believes that Midtjylland will beat them and then they will get beat off of Hearts. I don't see it personally, but I mean, I hope we do. I don't see it personally. Right, so serious prediction time. Obviously, we're all going to predict Rangers to win the league. So, Kerr, what was it we won the league by last year? 25 points? So, how many points this season will we win the league by?
15.
You think it'll drop?
Yeah.
Alan?
I'm going to go same again. I don't think we'll go through the league unbeaten, just because the odds of that happening are astronomical, but I think they're going to be horrendous at times. So I'm going to go 25. I'm going to go 30 points.
There you go. He's up in it. So why the drop in 10 points then, Kerr?
Because what Alan said, I don't think we'll go undefeated. So I think we maybe drop. We'll maybe get beat 2, 3, 4 games this season, but I still think we'll win the league. I think we'll end up doing what Celtic used to do. I mean, they could get beat a dozen games at times. Some of the seasons when we were bad, and still win the league at a canter. So it's going to be very difficult to go through. It depends on the Champions League. If we get into the group stages there, that's when I think we maybe drop the points.
Yeah, that's actually a fair point. So the Champions League, Alan, will have, if we make it, and that's going to be our prediction coming up soon, but if we make it, might make the league a little more tricky.
Possibly, but I think that's why we've got a bigger squad. I know we expect some players, but I don't think it's going to be a lot. I think the bigger squad's there to negotiate between now and Christmas, and playing difficult games in Europe during the week. Hopefully it'll be in the Champions League, and then coming back and playing domestically. I think that's why we've got more players there just now, and I think it'll be January before we start to see players leaving, or certainly in large numbers anyway.
Definitely. I don't think there'll be large numbers of players leaving. I don't think that's. First of all, I don't think it's feasible because of the coronavirus. And in fact, actually, something that we could actually discuss really, really quickly, Kerr, and we kind of touched on it the last time we spoke. Very, very heavy rumours. And I know this is meant to be predictions and I'm turning this into a normal pod, but I don't care. It's for the members. George Edmondson possibly going to Ipswich for over £1 million. Can you please explain how that's possible?
Ipswich have got a bit of money. So I suppose they're looking for the buy George Edmondson, and Rangers have said, well, we want £1 million for him, whatever, and they've said fair enough, and they've offered the money. I know they've got a bit of money behind them this season, like the new owners. So, and to be honest with you, he's not a bad player, George. He was just unlucky at Rangers. He wasn't going to ever be first choice. He had issues with the COVID thing last season. But he was a good player. When he played Oldham in England, they had the best defensive record in that league when he played there. So there's something that's about him, and maybe he can back down to England in League One. That's what you're looking to come up. I say they've got a bit of money, and I think ball for the back, so they took down the fridge. So hopefully he does quite well.
See, that's the thing, Alan. Obviously, you know, the English teams do spend more on players than perhaps any other league in the world. But has Big George, as good and as solid as he's looked, has he done anything to suggest at this point in his career that he should be going for over £1 million?
I was a bit surprised to read that, to be honest. £1 million. Like Kerr says, I don't think he's a terrible player. It just doesn't work for him at Rangers for one reason or another. But for a player that's not been playing a great deal of football, went on loan last season, and I never watched him every week, but I understand he was in and out the team a little bit. But if Ipswich want to come in and give us £1 million for a player that isn't going to get in our team, they are more than welcome. More than welcome. I hope more teams come in at £1 million for players that aren't going to get a game.
That's very, very true. All right, that takes us on to another one then. Who will leave before the end of the transfer window, Alan? This is great, man. I just get to ask ridiculous questions and you have to answer them. It's great.
I'm going to go Glenn Kamara. I don't want it. I think if the right offer comes in, he is gone.
Anybody else, Alan? Anybody else?
We'll wait and see what's happening with Morelos.
It's never mind wait and see. It's predictions. Don't be so anal. Predict who's going to leave. Come on.
Right. Okay. I think Morelos.
A politician.
I think Morelos is going to go because I think his agent's just made far too much noise, and he's clearly up. After Gerrard's comments, he's clearly upsetting things. In Gerrard's books. So I think Kamara's going to be away, Morelos is going to be away, and you'll probably see Hasty, Jones, the types of players at the door soon as well.
All right, Kerr, any advance on Kamara, Morelos, Hasty?
I was talking to a boy at works with Wigan today. I know they're interested in Jordan Jones, so I'm going to say Jordan Jones. They've asked to take him. Rangers want to sell him, but Wigan asked for him on loan, so that's what he told me today. So I'm hoping they'll come in with a bid. I know they've got a bit of money about him as well, Wigan, so hopefully they come in £1 million for Jordan Jones, and we'll take that. But I kind of agree with Glenn Kamara and Morelos. I think Alfie wants away, and I think Kamara would like to try the Premiership. To be fair, he'll probably do quite well down there, and he could probably treble his wages, so I would say they too.
Right, can I just remind the two of you, right? This isn't the normal let's make loads of common sense kind of podcast, right? This is one of these, I ask a question, you give me a prediction, no matter how ridiculous it sounds, and then I get to take the piss out of you halfway through the season.
Right, deal. I can do that.
Right, play the game.
Okay.
Right, another wee prediction I thought would be quite good, and I think Alan was actually good at mentioned it, is who do you think will be, come the end of the season, and I'll take this to you, Alan, seeing as it was your point, the most underrated player of the year? And I know that's a really difficult question to ask, right? But who do you think could be the most underrated player?
Underrated. I hope that he is. We're talking about this guy in the best light come the end of the season. I came into the squad in January. I have been so impressed with Scott Wright. But I think guys like Kent and Sakala are going to take, and Hadji will take the headlines. But I think Scott Wright is going to be an absolute star for us this season. So I maybe play a wee bit there because of how good he is, but I think we won't be talking about Scott Wright enough come the end of the season.
Well, that could be a fair point. I actually think here that, and I can't believe I'm about to agree with Scott Kennedy. Right? Don't tell him, right? Because he's not a member, so he can't watch this, right? I thought Hadji was extremely underrated last season. I'm not going to lie.
I think he was, Martin, because he came in, obviously, because everybody knows his dad more than they know him, and then he came in for a bit of money, and he'd done quite well a few games. Everybody thought this lad's going to like to up in this league, and then he didn't flatter to deceive at times. He was just settling in, because Scottish football is different from any other league in the world, because it's more tougher, more faster than playing other leagues. You can play in English Premiership quite well if you're a technical player like Hadji or Kamara. But you come up to Scotland, you get somebody coming down your throat after about 20 seconds and you've got the ball at your feet. So you need time to adjust. I agree with you. I like Hadji, and I think he is underrated. I'm actually going to say Stephen Davis. I know he's not underrated, but as in he does so much work, it goes unnoticed for other players in the team, and that's what you need. That's what you need. And you were talking about Celtic earlier, and I think that's what they're missing. I know Scott Brown's a bit of a prick, right? I mean, I don't like him, but the work they've done in that midfield for them was very. I think a lot of folk didn't notice what he'd done with them, and he kept them together. And McGregor's not the same type of player, so they need somebody to replace him, which I hope they don't get. But I would say Stephen Davis for Rangers.
Have you got your window open, Kerr?
I have, yes.
You want to shut it?
My window and me.
Your window?
Anything else you want me to Wi-Fi?
I didn't drop your phone.
Aye, please don't drop your fucking phone. Right, okay, here's a controversial one for the two of yous. If we win the league, and we'll come to the Cups and we'll come to Europe in a minute, but if we win the league, have a really good season, Kerr, will this be Steven Gerrard's final season? There's a prediction for you.
Hopefully not, Martin, but I can see where you're coming from, and he's a guy who wants to be a manager on the high stage, and I think Liverpool's his end game, but if he got offered a big club somewhere else and he's been successful with us, I'm not sure he will stick around, because at the end of the day, he's a football man and he wants to prove himself in other leagues, and proving yourself in Scotland is good, but if you can prove yourself in a higher league, and it does, you gets in your CV, and if he ends up at Liverpool, I say that's his end game. So hopefully not, but as long as you're successful, when you're successful, people are always looking at you anyway.
You know, and like I say, I want to repeat it because this is only going out to the members and not the wider YouTube public. We're doing some just mad random predictions, so please don't take this too serious. So Alan, I'll take the same question to you.
I think there's a chance. If you remember when the day Gerrard signed, he was doing an interview. I think it was either in the trophy room or the blue room. He was doing the interview, and he made comment about having a 4-year plan. This is year 4, so I think he'll want to leave on top because that's the type of character he is. So if Rangers win the league again this season and he's had a crack at the Champions League, what more can he really do? Realistically, we're not going to be winning the Champions League anytime soon, as much as we might like to think we will be. So if he wins the league again, has a good crack at the Champions League, maybe gets out the group stages at the very best, he might think, I've done everything I can here. I don't want to damage my reputation. He'll be a hero amongst Rangers fans forever. So I wouldn't hold it against him if I don't. Right, he could possibly. I think equally, if we don't win the league, which isn't going to happen, if we don't win the league, I think he'll stay.
Do you know the one prediction that I would be really happy to make is every single time on the podcast, whether it be we're recorded ones, we're live ones, we're breaking news, somebody always seems to be using Wolves Internet. Every single podcast.
I've got a right grainy picture tonight. I don't know what's going on with it. It was a dodgy connection last night as well.
See, this is why use members out there. This is so important, so we can get Alan some decent Wi-Fi and Wolf some decent Wi-Fi. You know. Anyways, on to the next one because I'm not sticking on that Gerrard one because he won't leave at the end of the season, even if we win the Champions League. So get up to 2 years. What European competition will we be playing in after the qualifiers, Alan?
Champions League. Simple as that.
Champions League.
Right. How far, Alan, will we get in the Champions League?
I'm going to get out the group. We're going to get a decent draw. We'll get out the group. Okay, we're going to the quarterfinals.
I know I said ridiculous predictions, but I kind of wanted you to keep them half serious. So, Carol, as a man in the know, how far will we get in the Champions League?
Group stages.
Group stages?
Aye. We'll finish third and go back to Europa.
Would it be the end of the world if we got to the Champions League group stages and finished 4th? I honestly don't think it would be the absolute end of the world because you still get that Champions League money. Finishing 3rd and going into the Europa League, Alan, would just be the icing on the cake, really, for where we are anyway, I think.
Yeah, you're right. No, I think if we get into the group stages, then see as long as a wee bit like when Scotland played at Euros, see as long as we're not getting humped 6-0.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be quite good. You're right. The money will come in if we finish 4th. The money's there anyway. Then we can have an even better crack at it next season this year. And if we drop down into the Europa, sorry, is that you switched to Will's Wi-Fi now? No,
no, just you.
Does everybody want my password?
Sorry, Al, you carry on.
As long as we're in the group stages of the Champions League, I don't think anybody will be disappointed at whatever happens after that.
Nah, you go along with that, Kerr. It's all about making the Champions League. Although, look, if we end up in the Europa League, it's not the end of the world, If we end up in the Conference League, I don't think I would be too happy with that. But Europa League minimum for Gerrard this season, do you think?
Obviously, he want to be in Europe at some point, and it's hard to get into Champions League every year. I mean, it's harder for smaller countries. So if we get there, that's great. If we end up in the Europa League, I'll not be as happy because it's not the Champions League, but we're still in Europe, which is the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. Going from one cup competition to another, Scottish Cup, League Cup, Kerr, will we win any this year?
The Scottish Cup, no win the League Cup. We'll win the Scottish Cup.
Who'll put us out of the League Cup? I'll put you on the spot. Don't say Dunfermline. Hearts. Everybody keeps predicting Hearts are going to do really well. Alan, cup competitions, are we treble on this year?
We're winning the treble. I don't see who's going to put us out of cups. I think there'll be teams fancy us. I think Aberdeen will really fancy us if they get us at a semi-final stage or something like that. But nah, I think we've got the squad big enough to cope with 3 domestic competitions in Europe. So treble, quarterfinals of the Champions League. You heard it here first.
Grand National.
Aye. And you know what? If we finish third in the Champions League, we'll just go on and win the Europa League as well. Fuck it, why not? I'm just trying to think now of some more wacky. In fact, Kerr, how important actually, while we're on this point, how important is it for us to win a cup this year? Because if we take into context, the league's obviously a must. It would be fantastic to go far in Europe. If we get into the Champions League, how important are the cups?
I think the cup's important. It's important to the manager, but not as important as in the Champions League or the league. To myself, I'm one of these people. If we win a cup, great. If we don't, we don't. As long as we can win the league, I'm happy. But I know a lot of people like a cup, so I think the most of the fans want a cup because we've not won a cup for a wee while. And probably Steven Gerrard, he wants a cup as well. So I'll probably say it is really important.
Alan, go along with that?
Yeah, I think we need to get this monkey off our back about the cups. And I think it's going to happen. It should have happened this season. We took our eye off the ball away to St Mirren and at home to St Johnstone for that matter. I don't think Gerrard learns from his mistakes, and I don't think he's going to make those mistakes again.
Here's a question for the two of you, right? And I'll start with you, Alan. Will Andy Firth get any first team minute?
Yeah, I mentioned it last night on the match reaction. That man has got the best job in football. I think he's a competition winner. I don't think he's a football player. I think he's won a lucky dipper for him. Whatever he's on wages wise, he gets to knock a ball about during the week with the Rangers first team, and then at the weekend gets free access to the Rangers games, gets to go to every match. Gets Alan McGregor and he's getting paid. That's and he just signed a new contract at the end of last season. Luckiest man in football. Well, probably the luckiest man in Scotland.
But you never answered my question.
Will he get any game time? No, absolutely not. No, I think there's more chance of me getting a game.
Kerr, will Andy Firth get any game time in the Rangers first team this season?
Nope, none whatsoever. But he'll be still there with his phones and his bag of balls.
Right, okay. Right, second to last, or penultimate, is a word I discovered the other day. Who will? And this is quite interesting because obviously it depends on who stays. But if we just take it that all the strikers stay, Kerr, who'll finish top goal scorer?
If Morelos stays, it'll be Morelos.
Do you think so though?
Aye. He's the best striker at Ibrox still.
Do you think so? 100% if he stays, he'll finish top goal scorer.
I'm not going to change my mind. I'll feel the top goal scorer. If he doesn't stay, then it'll be a question mark between maybe.
I tell you what. Then hold that thought. Right. So if Alfie stays, Alfie's top goal scorer. Alan, if Alfie stays, is Alfie top goal scorer?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that actually, if you have a minute to think about it, maybe no. I think if Alfie stays, he'll play all the big games, European games, Celtic, Aberdeen, the types of games that we're going to find difficult. He'll play. but there's going to be a bit of rotation going on here, so he might drop out the team at times. Attenroof, Sakala might play through the middle at times. So, you know, he might not play as much football as we think. So, just to be controversial, I'm going to say Sakala's going to finish top goal scorer if Morelos stays.
I think what we have to remember is that for very, very large parts of the season last year, Tavernier was the top goal scorer. And Alfie was playing most weeks.
Yeah, striker for top goal scorer. He didn't ask who was going to be top goal scorer at the team.
I did ask who was going to be a top goal scorer. Well, all right, okay. I'll take that back. Fair enough. All right, if Alfie leaves, Alan, who'll be top goal scorer? And the team doesn't need to be a striker.
In the team, I'll say Sakala again.
Of course, you said Sakala. So you don't even matter. You don't matter. Care if Alfie leaves.
Sit here with my dodgy Wi-Fi.
If Alfie leaves,
top goal scorer. I'll go with Tav again.
Tav, probably quite a good shout actually. Although is Tav going to get as many minutes this season as what he did last season with young Patterson coming through? But that's for another podcast. Never mind that.
Thank you all.
Aye, that's for another. I mean, we've covered about 8. I mean, I'm going to need to save some of this for Thursday. Right, final question. Nothing to do with Rangers. One of you suggested it during one of our breaks during this because you kept fucking up. Kerr, who's going to get relegated for the Premiership this year?
Dundee United.
That would be lovely. And who's going to finish in that dreaded playoff spot, Kerr?
Dundee.
I don't think Kerr likes Dundee very much. Alan, for yourself, who's getting relegated?
There could be anyone in a number of teams that came up. Hearts, I'll go for Hearts. Hearts are going to get relegated.
Hearts, that's a big shout.
Yep.
Okay. Hearts. I'm just writing these down so that I can just...
Oh, we're going to come back to this. I want to change some of my answers.
Right, Alan, who finishes in that dreaded playoff spot?
Probably will say Dundee United. They were absolute honking last season. They're probably only going to get worse. So I'll go Dundee United. Are going to finish in there as well.
Dundee United. There you go. Okay, that wraps up our first ever members only video, and I really hope they can forgive us for Alan's extremely painful Wi-Fi.
Yep.
I've got no Wi-Fi in my house, and I'm connected to my phone, and I'm still getting better internet access than yourself, Alan. So
yeah, that's what I'll need to do. We need to spin the Sky and get BT.
Aye.
Are you with Sky? That's why. Oh, that's poor rhyming. That is shocking. Right, listen, Alan and Kerr, thank you very much. Thank you for the members for tuning in. There'll be lots more content coming. I'm even contemplating doing a weekly podcast. We'll see how it goes. So if we get enough members, we're going to open up a Discord as well for you to get in. There's going to be a members only Rangers Rabble Discord. There's going to be any stuff that we put out uploaded that's not live. You'll get 24 hours access if it's possible. So there's plenty of stuff coming. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll speak to you again very, very soon.